And I said to myself, what is going on? And I gave myself a challenge. I said, if 20 more people tell me that I have to become a designer, then it's real, then it's real.
You're number 20 now going.
And I was like, what is Dubai? I'm living in London. Like, no. And the number of people that came to me say, oh my God, look at this girl. She's crazy. She's wearing a sofa. Another person wrote on my Instagram, ha ha ha, now I know what to do with my tent at the end of the season. I said, please don't save up for fashion. Save up for education, save up for courses, learn a new language, travel. And when people say I'm tired, I didn't know this word until maybe very recently. People say, we don't hire people with this passport.
Really?
Yes. And they said, you need to, get your papers sorted. I'm like, what do you mean? They said, maybe you can get married to get a passport. Like Andrea Bocelli says, people ask him how to become a singer. He said, you don't become a singer. People choose you to become a singer. Thank God to people who didn't believe in me. If I ever write a book, this would be my first opening line. Thank you so much to everyone who told me I will never make it. Thank you.
From a small town in Russia to a self-made Vogue journalist in London, and since 2012, fashion designer in Dubai, who fully earned her status of a fashion expert. She's famous for her UE work with fabrics called sadu, which was previously mainly used for Arabic tents. And she turned it immediately into amazing modern designs, which got popularity among the clients from 70 countries, recognized by UE government, also worn by ministers of the UE, loved by celebrities, and sold on Expo 2020. I'm very pleased to introduce to you Katya Kovtunovich.
Thank you so much.
Katya, I truly admire people with talent and passion. I find you one of those people. And I believe that if you do have passion in everything what you do, it's really making the world a better place. So my first question, where did you get the passion for the business that you're doing right now? And what was your journey to Dubai?
I think the real businesses and the real passion starts from not thinking about business.
Oh, wow.
It actually starts with you as a child engaging in some activity that you don't even think what it can lead to.
Amazing.
So I started making dresses for my Barbie doll when I was 7. And it actually was my way of realizing dreams that I couldn't realize myself because she was tiny. She didn't need much fabric to make a fabulous long red carpet dress.
Amazing.
So I could take a small piece of a beret or any kind of little fabric that I find, anywhere. And I could turn it into a sensational dress. So it was my place
You
where
can say early age passion.
Yes, it was my place where nobody could tell me, no, you can't make a dress out of a tent fabric, or you cannot make a dress out of a broken beret, or you cannot make a dress. There was no, I cannot. There was, I can do anything I want and the way I think is right.
Amazing.
So that's how it started. And when I turned 9, I realized that I can stitch clothes for myself. And my parents didn't have much money. And at that time, Russia was still a Soviet Union, so we didn't have much choice. And me, I always have expensive taste. I walk into a shop and the only thing I like is the most expensive one. So my mother said, for example, here is 50 dirhams, go get yourself trousers. What can you buy with the 50 dirhams? At that time, there was no Zara, there was no choice.
And you're like,
So
sorry,
I
mama,
would-
I'm going to make my own.
Exactly. I would take 50 dirhams, go buy fabric, and make it. So I became famous in my school as a girl who makes all her clothes myself. So people would approach me, did you do it yourself? I said, yes. So
I'm
was
sure
like
it
such an empowering...
like it's being recognized from the very beginning, right? With the different look itself.
Yes, and I felt very proud because I went to school with very privileged kids. And I was from very modest, means very poor family. So that was, when you are with the kids who are exposed to everything, all the travels, being abroad, studying abroad, I had to have my own signature. Like, okay, you guys have that, but I have this. So that was my way of standing up for myself.
Nice. So transitioning from the Vogue journalist towards UE and from the journalism to fashion? How did this whole transition happen?
Actually, I was just open to anything that comes my way. I was open to universe, to God. God, please guide me. Universe, guide me. I went to London with $200 because London was a capital of fashion. Anna Wintour, the editor-in-chief of American Vogue, is British. A lot of designers are British. John Galliano at the helm of Dior was British. Alexander McQueen was British. So I felt like London is the place where I can learn about fashion. So I went there with intention to do unpaid work experiences because I couldn't afford the fashion university. It was extremely expensive. And I said, okay, I cannot afford it, but I can do something else in order to achieve my dream. And I always believed, okay, maybe that is not for me, but I can make my dream come true in other ways. So I went to intern at London Fashion Week. 3 months later, after my arrival to London, I got invited to intern at British Vogue. And I got so inspired by the backstage of fashion industry that I saw. And I realized that at that time there was no Facebook, no Instagram.
Yeah.
And I wanted to share it with other girls who didn't have experience that I had, who didn't see what I saw. So I wanted to share with them what happens behind the scenes, how fashion magazine is created. So I became a journalist more out of desire to share. So it just was natural. By the way, I applied to all the fashion companies, but nobody answered me. So I said, okay, maybe that's not destiny for me. Maybe my designs are not so good.
And I also believe that God always creates that path for us, where we will learn the things we need the best for the future.
Absolutely. And actually, one of the editors at Vogue, I asked her advice, and she said, intern anywhere. Intern at a PR company, intern at a newspaper, intern at a designer studio, intern in a marketing agency, like anything around fashion, you need to know in order to be a fully rounded professional. So I'm actually very grateful that I had these 5 years as a journalist because I went to all the fashion weeks around the world. I interviewed all the designers. I've learned so much. So I actually built
Even I
my
have
own
goosebumps,
university.
to be honest.
Thank you.
Because I can feel like that level of experience that you gain, even starting with language and
You can
understanding.
never get in any school.
You can't. It's just impossible to just read about it, right?
As a matter of fact, I went because we women always feel we are not good enough. We always feel like, no, 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 no. I've achieved this, but I'm still not good enough. I need a degree. I went to fashion school. And I spoke to the tutor who actually knew me from Fashion Week. He's like, Katya, what are you doing here? I said, Andrew, I came to do masters in fashion. He said, Katya, I'm sorry, you're overqualified. I cannot put you in the same class with girls who have never been at a fashion show. You've seen it all. You have an incredible portfolio of articles. I'm sorry, you're overqualified. So I actually praised myself on doing my own masters in fashion without paying for masters in fashion.
When you are actually in Dubai right now, when you're creating your own business and your own brand, everything what as an experience you gained from that, you're literally utilizing right now.
Absolutely.
Like from beginning till the end. Because even sometimes when I can give you my example with podcasts, with interviews, all of that also never came just over one day, you know. It takes an experience, it takes circumstances and people around who will direct you, who will push you for something, and eventually you're becoming like that person who is the full package.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so how did that full package arrive to Dubai?
Actually, towards the end of my journalistic journey, I didn't know it was the end, but the universe was pushing me towards a new path. I got so many compliments in the street for clothes that I made myself. Everywhere I went, people say, oh my God, where did you get that coat from? I said, sorry, I made it myself. Like, can I buy it? Sorry, can I get your number? I want the same coat for my girlfriend. I was like, wait, I'm a journalist. And they said, you should stop being a journalist. You should start being a designer.
And that's the funny thing. People kind of tell you, right? What you have to go.
When God wants to pass a message to you, it will literally like, go hardcore, pushing you in the right direction. And I said to myself, what is going on? And I gave myself a challenge. I said, if 20 more people tell me that I have to become a designer, then it's real. Then it's real.
You're a number 20 now going.
Yes. So it literally happened that way. And actually, the person who gave me my first job in London, which was a manager at the Prada store. When I arrived, I had no money. to support myself for a long time.
Wow.
I got my first job on my second day in London. I went fully dressed to Bond Street, where all the luxury boutiques were located. And I walked into the Prada store and I said, "Hi, guys, I would like to offer myself to join your team." And they were overwhelmed because no one looks for a job that way. People come say, "Please take my CV. I'm looking for a job." They're begging. And I was offering myself, my smile, my energy. So they called me back 5 minutes later. They said, "Katya, please come back." I went back. They said, "Hired." So the
Wow.
same person
Amazing.
moved to Dubai, and we met by coincidence in Paris. And he said, "Katya, why don't you come to Dubai? We are looking for, someone in the marketing department." And I was like, "What is Dubai? I'm living in London." Like, no, 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 no.
Excuse me.
Yes. And then it was a very, very cold winter in London. And I already started my fashion brand. And I was wearing Uggs. I was wearing a fully like fur jacket in my studio, and I was still freezing. And I said, "Wait, let me check temperature in Dubai." And then it was something like 27. I think I should consider this opportunity. And the minute I came, I just felt so happy. It was not a logical choice, because logical choice would be staying in UK, building my career, getting my passport. But I said, no, 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 no. I want to choose a place where I'm happy.
And I think we as women were blessed with intuition.
Absolutely.
In that sense.
It was absolutely not logical decision. And I moved. I had a salary of 5,000 dirhams.
Wow.
I was working as an intern. For me, it was like, excuse me, I work for British Vogue. Like, you want me to work as an intern? No, no, no. And then I thought, why am I so snobbish? Actually, it was very interesting to learn from a big fashion brand how they do marketing, how they approach their clients, how they calculate their budgets. So it was a wonderful opportunity for me. I worked for Shalhoub Group, which is the biggest in the market. Actually, that was my point, to learn. I moved here to learn. But everybody said, of course, "Katya, why did you move to Dubai? Did you marry a sheikh?" Like, what is this?
Almost there.
Yes, we are in 21st century. Women can move to places for so many reasons.
Of course.
It has nothing to do with marrying somebody.
It is still like, kind of stereotype of attaching women to someone else.
But I love stereotypes because I love to break them.
Speaking of Sadu, kind of a breakthrough, taking a very heritage design and turning into the modern. How did that idea came to you?
Of course, when I moved, the first thing I wanted to do is explore local markets and local fabrics. So I went to Satwa on the bus because I didn't have a car back then. And I was just walking around and I saw this furniture store with the mattresses outside, these Arabic Majlis mattresses. I was like, wow, that's a beautiful fabric. And then I saw a roll of Sadu standing there. I couldn't believe it. I don't know, something inside me just told me, oh my God, I want to make a winter coat, go back to Russia and wear it in the winter on a fully white background with this red
It's actually a theme, Russian kind of tradition also. We have a lot of red in
I
that.
like to stand out with my clothes, so I wanted to wear something so signature that nobody can not notice me.
Amazing.
And that's how it started. And then I realized that people comment on it all the time. So I didn't have any business idea behind it first. I thought I'll just wear it and be like, whoa, everybody sees me.
Yeah.
I was at the train station in Moscow, and I left my luggage there.
Oh my God, I just can imagine how beautiful and bright you were.
Yes.
In Moscow in winter time is like a kind of grayish kind of snow kind of thing. And then imagine these colors.
Yes. I like a saying, don't try to fit in if you are born to stand out. So that is fine. There is nothing too much in terms of clothes.
That's all right.
So the guy, I was looking for my number, like the little ticket he gave me, and I couldn't find it. He said, "Madam, don't worry. I remember your coat. I remember you. I know where is your suitcase." I couldn't believe that. So I realized when you wear it, people notice you, people remember you because it's so unique and it has some kind of energy that just makes people connect to you.
Transfers your personality, I think. We open it up through our style, and that's how people perceive.
Yes, but actually in the Middle East at that time, people didn't think my idea was so great because for them it was still very much a sofa fabric. And the number of people that came to me say, "Oh my God, look at this girl, she's crazy, she's wearing a sofa." Another person wrote on my Instagram, "Ha ha ha, now I know what to do with my tent at the end of the season." People were really rejecting this idea. And I said, you know what, you reject it for now, but one day you will see. I don't know why I had this, like a mother believes in her child blindly. That's
Yes.
how I believed in this idea. And I cannot explain why. It just was inside me, and I wanted to make it, and I wanted to make Sadu famous all over the world, because I was personally hurt whenever I traveled out of UAE, in Boston, in Europe. People say Dubai has no culture. There
Yeah.
is no culture. Women are oppressed, and all sorts of stereotypes. So I wanted to prove them wrong through my own work, through kindness, through love, through uniting cultures, through introducing people from abroad to, you know, what Middle Eastern women wear, because this piece is inspired by abaya.
Yes.
So that was my idea. And I wanted, when they go back home and wear this piece back home, everybody would ask them, wow, where is this from? And they would say, this from Dubai. And Dubai would get a completely different publicity and completely different talk around it.
It's like being an ambassador
Yes.
of a specific
That's how I call
cultural
myself.
pattern.
I
Exactly.
prefer, because I'm not really pushing women to get a new dress every day. I don't believe that women should spend all their salary on fashion. And when people approach me, they say, oh, I'm going to save up to buy a tunic. I said, please don't save up for fashion. Save up for education, save up for courses, learn a new language, travel, build your career first. And then when $200 or $250 is not a big deal for you, then come back and buy it. Because fashion magazines do the opposite. You should have this bag. Unless you have this bag, you are nobody. I don't believe in that.
And this is
honestly don't
exactly a
believe in
majority
that.
of the women, like they would not eat, but they would get an
Because
expensive
men
dress.
invest their money and women just spend their money on fashion. But why? We should also invest. We should also build career. We
Correct.
should also do investment first and then spend when we have passive income.
That's very mature approach.
Wouldn't
Amazing.
that be logical?
Maybe somebody is lucky, somebody is not, to find their passion. Because I feel once the passion is there for something, like you just mentioned, when you blindly believe in your own, like a baby, that, you know, and doesn't matter who says what, that's what makes actually person so happy and fulfilled. And that's where
you don't need the status symbols, no rings, no watches.
You are your own brand.
Absolutely.
And you're just wearing your own clothes, and that's your own style.
And people notice you for your energy. People notice you for the way you speak.
And I think the energy becomes bigger and bigger. The more you believe in yourself, like you can go, sometimes you can see a person from 1 kilometer and you can see the radiating
me wearing this
thing.
tunic, definitely you'll see me from 1 kilometer.
Yeah, that's 100%. Now that you have really great experience in multiple countries, right? London, you can say, like also it's a
I worked
very
in
big
New
hub.
York as well during the fashion weeks in Paris.
So you have this international fashion exposure.
And I speak 5 languages as well.
Oh, really? Which one?
German, I studied it in university. Italian, French, that I learned because I wanted to be a fashion journalist.
Wow.
And when you stand next to Giorgio Armani, he's not going to speak English for you. If he's giving an interview to a big newspaper in Italian, if you speak Italian, you can stand next to him and write it down and you are done.
Wow.
So I learned French and Italian and Russian and English.
I mean, I have like a real estate background. We could have taken you just with the closed eyes, you know.
Why not? I'm happy to try something new.
As you said, when you come to Dubai, Dubai is very specific still. Yes, it's also multicultural and everything. But when it comes to dealing business as a woman in an Islamic country and with fashion, do you find there is a difference? Do you find there is any difficulties or challenges that you have personally faced that you might like say
Having
yes?
experienced life in London with dangerous streets and dangerous areas, I was so happy here that I can fully unleash my creativity because creativity is not working 9 to 5. Creative people can wake up at 3 a.m. Oh my God, I have this idea. I need to drive somewhere.
Yeah, 100%.
So we don't have a schedule. And I can do it. I don't need to think, oh my God, if I stop in the road at 3 a.m. to photograph the moon, somebody will kill me. No, you can photograph the moon. People will stop and say, would you like any help? Something happened. Do you need we fix your tire? No, thank you guys. I'm just here to take a photo. Oh, okay, have a good night. I love that. It makes me feel so comfortable and so, I'm embracing my creativity, that I can do a photo shoot at 3 a.m. I don't need to worry that I'm going inside the parking and somebody may come behind me.
It's like a full focus goes on creating rather than looking at the all the challenges.
Or calculating your schedule around what's dangerous and what's not. And also everything is working late. So
Yeah.
every business works until 10, 11, 9.
Every time I look around, like when I travel to Europe, every time I see like they close it at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, everything is
In
closing.
London,
You're
if
like,
you want
what?
to go and buy buttons, the shops are closing at 5. So your day is so short.
Yes.
You cannot, if you want to do something in the morning, you're already not going to make it to the button shop. Gives you this unlimited number of hours in a day.
Would you say like UAE one of the best and easier place to make business as a woman?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when I was an intern, nobody told me like, oh, you have the wrong passport, which I heard in London. People say, we don't hire people with this passport.
Really?
Yes. And they said, you need to, get your papers sorted. I'm like, what do you mean? They said, maybe you can get married to get a passport. Wow. For me, it's a crime to get married in order to get a passport. So in UAE, nobody offered me this kind of things. Please, this is your ticket, this is your passport, this is your contract.
I also feel UAE at the moment they are supporting women a lot.
I think it's just cultural that no one can ever comment, oh my God, you gain weight, oh my God, you're too old. Nobody says that.
Yeah.
It's a very respectful environment.
Exactly. That's
And
what I
no
also
one, no
love.
one can say, oh, you're just a girl, you're just a woman. Never I heard that. So if we look at the ministers, 50% are women. Expo 2020 was run by women.
So would you say actually the local women are enjoying your fashion right now, enjoying the bias that you're making?
Some, yes. But majority of my clients are around the world.
Around
We've
the world.
shipped to more than 70 countries. I actually need to recalculate my list because 70, that was a while ago. A few days ago, I got an order from Mongolia,
Wow.
Sweden, you name it. Like we've shipped to
And
so
mainly
many.
it's what type of designs that, let's say, required? Is it more of, like tunic, what you were mentioning in one of your
Yes, that's
stories?
my
Or
Sadu tunic and
Yeah.
my hashtag Sadu goes global. It literally went global. I even had the clients in Limpopo in Africa. We all know this fairy tale in Russian, the
Yeah.
Aibolit.
Yes, I believe.
It's crazy. Like I would never think that as a girl growing up reading this fairy tale,
Yeah.
that I would have a client in that location. So it's wonderful.
It's like learning geography through the business,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. And as a small girl from a small town, I could never dream that what I've created would be receiving such international love.
I always say like we really have no idea of the power that inside. It's just a matter of allowing yourself to let it out.
Absolutely.
To
And that's why when I went to give a talk at a school to 12, 13-year-old kids, I said that sometimes only you know what is the fire and the passion inside you. Sometimes you have to go against your parents' will because
Yeah.
my parents didn't want me to be in fashion. They said, no London, no fashion. No, no, no,
That's
no.
again the stereotypes, I think in Russia, like you have to be lawyer or
Like in many countries.
economist,
Like in many countries.
like in many countries, because kind of financial
Like
banking.
it's okay. You need to also find a compromise with your parents. So I studied. I have a diploma of a very prestigious university, and I can work as so many things. So I have a backup plan. It's not like I woke up and said I want to be a designer or a blogger and I have nothing else. No, I have a diploma and I can work in so many other fields. If something doesn't work out, I think we don't talk enough about it. People say, oh, just drop everything, do what you
Yeah,
dream. It's not true. You need to first make sure your business is fully built before you drop your job, before you drop your constant income.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing worse than you being without a job
Right.
and without a business yet.
Yet
I had this situation and I was running like crazy around Dubai looking for a job because I ran out of money. And at that time, not paying rent could get you in jail.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you don't want to be in that situation.
There's a lot of also videos now in social media, like follow your passion and all of that. So people like suddenly get inspired, they drop everything, dropping 9 to 5 job and everything. Just let me start my business.
A job is a wonderful thing because it gives you stability.
Exactly.
It gives you, this sense of security at the end of the month. So when I started with my fashion brand in Dubai, I was teaching my Sadu coats at night. I would sleep 1 hour before I go to the office. I was literally, because I was sharing apartment with one girl. So in order not to wake her up, I wish I had these photos. I took this, kitchen stool and put my sewing machine on top of it. And I went to the balcony because that way I wouldn't disturb her.
Oh my
It
God.
was crazy. I was literally stitching them at night and then going to the office. And when people say I'm tired, I didn't know this word until maybe very recently. I didn't know what means tired. I had 4 jobs when I came to Dubai. I had my office job. Before my office job at 7 a.m., I was teaching English to an oil company executive. After my job, I was teaching English to kids in 2 different families. And also twice a week, I was teaching Russian in a language school in Knowledge Village.
Katya, I'm blown away with,
Thank you so much.
to
No,
be
because
honest.
people imagine they have one job and they will make it. No,
I
you
think
have to
people,
add so much more.
yeah, people, they feel like, oh, I want my own business because I want that, do nothing and money just comes
If you
itself
do
or
the
something.
minimum,
Yeah.
you will never get anywhere. You need to do
No.
absolute maximum and for
Right.
many years.
And those, I think, stories, they have to be told way more than they're told because it's hard. As there are some jokes that, in your own business, you work 24/7. You don't work
Absolutely.
9 to 5 anymore.
And when people tell me, Katya, why you look so tired? I'm like, hey, please. Or why you don't wear something beautiful? Because when it's a very busy time, all I'm wearing is maybe the same trousers and the same top. I just put it in the washing machine and wear it again. Like Steve Jobs, he was wearing the same t-shirt every day. Just because you have no time to think
Yeah.
of dressing, makeup. I dress when I have free time. If you see me dress, that means I'm relaxing and it's a very convenient and
Yeah.
easy time for me. When I'm busy, there is no time.
And that comes to that another question: how do you balance? Because yes, passion can take over, and the work can
It's
take over
dangerous,
so
yes.
much. Yes, how do you really bring you back your energy? Where do you take the energy? And is it maybe related to sport? I had some guests who like full time in meditating. Somebody's just participating in marathons. So everyone has their own way. What's like yours?
Absolutely. I think we all need to discover things that, it's like medicine for your own body and your mental health.
Right.
Because it's passion, you don't notice how you get tired. You keep
Exactly.
working, you keep working. You say yes to this project and yes to this project, and you cannot say no because it's your child and you want it to succeed and you were waiting for so long for these
100%.
invitations to come. And when they come, you cannot say no. And then you end up burnt out. It's a very real story. It happened to me during Ramadan. After Ramadan, I think for a month, I didn't do anything. I was unwell for 2 weeks and then I just took time off.
That's the recent Ramadan you're talking
Yes.
about. Do
It's
you?
a blessing and a curse because
Yeah.
a blessing that all these projects come to you, but a curse that you really don't notice how you get tired. And sometimes you really need to say no to things. Now I'm not going to any events. Nothing,
Just
zero,
taking a break
absolutely
now.
zero. I only want to focus on my own things, my own priorities. Because every day, especially when you have a following on Instagram, you are invited somewhere, but you have to be very careful because.
And by the
you
way,
can
Katya
spend
has
days.
more than 100,000 right now, right?
No, 60.
60. Okay, means it's happening soon.
So it's, something that we need to consider very much. For me, I like to spend time in Fujairah, in very simple environment with nature, spending time with horses, with animals.
Do you ride horses?
Yes, I love it.
One of your hobbies?
Yes. I think also it's important to have different passions.
Yeah.
Because if you only do what you do for work, then it becomes like eating chocolate 24 hours for weeks and weeks and weeks. You need a variety of food. You need variety of things you do. I love aviation. I connect with aviation people a lot. I go to Dubai Air Show. I'm in love with planes and with people who are behind planes, pilots, engineers.
It's kind of an engineering.
Huge respect for that. Yes, I love cars. I love medicine. So I have so many other interests. And actually, if you want to be a creator and innovator, you have to be interested in many fields because then combining these fields, you can create something that didn't exist before.
Exactly.
So actually being interested in many things, which for many years people told me that's wrong because I'm spreading myself thin. I don't think it's spreading yourself thin. If you have many passions, it's a blessing. You will combine knowledge from one industry, bring it to another industry, and build something that didn't exist.
And this is very amazing to hear it from you because I had personally myself challenge with that as well. Like I was feeling, oh, I'm in real estate, so like I have to stick to it because everybody says no. If you focus on
But
one
who said
specific
that?
thing, and then I like singing, I like podcast, I like dancing, I like the varieties of things, and
Isn't
also
it a blessing?
exactly. And then I've seen Sasha Belair, the one that is
Yes, I
yeah,
know.
she's in US. I mean, she was the one who started with meditation, and then she became a singer, and then she became something else. And, I was listening to one of her interviews that you don't have to. And that's actually very healthy to switch.
Absolutely.
Your brain needs that switch otherwise, because also after 18 years in real estate, at some point I felt like I cannot look at this
Wow,
apartment
mashallah,
anymore.
18 years.
Yeah, so it's been so much energy given to one particular field that at some point I thought, wow, no, I need to have a variation, and I need to let other talents and passions get out there. Because
And that's the first thing I loved about Dubai, that all my talents, I love teaching languages. So in London, nobody wanted to learn English and nobody wanted to learn Russian. So when I came here, there were so many opportunities for me to realize all my talents. I was so happy teaching Russian.
and I feel a teacher energy from you, by the way, strongly. I could feel you could be you are an amazing teacher, I'm sure.
Thank you. I was a very strict teacher, but people say, "Oh my God, did you hit your students?" No, I just made fun of them. The ones that made mistake, I made jokes around it, and they really didn't want any jokes because everyone was laughing. I think you can teach through kindness. You can teach through very different methods that we use in schools, like this strict. I do like discipline, and because otherwise you will not learn anything. And I learned myself 4 languages, so I know how it is.
That helps a lot. I started with Turkish, difficult but amazing. The brain works is unbelievable. Some new connections are being built every day, and you feel like something is going around your brain. And
yeah, you keep your brain young when you learn something new. I'm actually thinking to study medicine.
Really?
That would be something completely different from fashion.
100%.
Because medical world is where people complement your kindness, complement your knowledge. In fashion, it's all about how you look.
Do you mean the medical in terms of medical schools or natural remedies?
Maybe medical school.
Medical schools. My mom is a doctor, 7 years,
Fantastic. My grandmother is a surgeon, so I'm very inspired by her, and I'm just, in awe of doctors.
And I think world also need good doctors in general.
Absolutely. And the world needs to have right role models and right stars, because we all fans of a football player or a model. But when you are unwell, and if you, God forbid, experience a serious illness, the only superstar that you have is your doctor, 100%. Because this person literally, your life depends on them.
Yes, everything.
I've experienced that, so
I'm sure there is a reason why also you looked at that from a different perspective.
Yes. And sometimes we need this reality check.
100%. When it comes to people starting up something new, because you already have a huge exposure with your experience and with your ups and downs, I'm sure, knowledge, communication, everything, whatever you have gained. Because, I'm asking this question, people who really went through this hard time, really earning that status of a person who can give a valid and solid advice. Because, sometimes people say, oh, I want to give advice on that, but the person is not legit for that. You know what I mean? Because
we all start with different starting point.
Yeah.
I literally started with the salary of 5,000 dirhams.
That's what I mean.
And somebody starts with a huge budget. It's very different success stories. Very, very different success stories.
Exactly.
And when people ask me, why don't you do business consultancy? Because I didn't build my business as a business. It was a passion. How can you give advice on something that is pure love? And to people who just have a budget and want to build it fast. That's not what I'm specialist
Yeah, because they're looking for a business model, basically, the strategy, structure.
But it's a different field.
Totally different.
Absolutely different field. And somebody who started from scratch, the way we went up and down, and literally very down.
Yeah.
And I cannot compare my success story to somebody who was born in New York, in already
totally
a successful
different
family. So we also need to be mindful of who we compare ourselves to. If my success story to people back home is huge.
Yes.
And to myself, because I remember times when I couldn't afford the coffee, I couldn't afford the taxi. And now I can afford to not work for 3 months. I can afford to not work for 6 months. I can afford to not work for 1 year if I want to. And for me, that is luxury and that is success. When you have financial freedom, when you're not going to work because you have to. You work when you want to. And when you don't want to, you can take a break and you can be kind to yourself. That for me is feminine. That for me is so important. And that for me is success. So
That was one of my questions, but you already answered it. Amazing about
no,
success.
because I think we are pushed to believe that success is having this luxury lifestyle. But to support that luxury style, how hard you need to work every day. And then you experience burnt out, and then you may develop some mental issues. Like you will
Can
be
happen.
very unhappy about your life because you always expected to be successful.
And I think this whole expectation and reality, sometimes even for myself, and when it doesn't come, it hits hard. And that's what I think people have to chill a little bit. Yes, perfection and expectations has to be, but when it's based on passion and love, you don't really think what's going to happen. Yes, you maintain your own personal standard, but also if you look at how many times during the podcast you said with love, and this is my passion that I have been exposed to all the time, right?
But maybe it's
not
wrong.
a business.
A business person will say what I do is wrong. And maybe for them it's wrong, but for me it's right. You need to do, for example, I never paid for marketing. I never paid for advertisement. Never in my entire career. So I'm selling, and I never had to pay for advertisement.
Because it's a word of mouth. People are happy.
When you put love comes back.
100%.
People who do it as a business, they have to pay, they have to push people. I almost push people not to buy when I see that they cannot afford. And for me, that is genuine, and that is me. And that's my unique story. Why do we have to have a story that resembles someone else? I want to be me, and I will have my success in my own way. Celebrities came to me because they want to wear my tunic. And because it looks so cool and different on photos, and because no one has done it before. So I didn't need to go to an agency. Can you please hire some influencers for me? It never happened. There are things that they will never have because the way I did it, they can never do it.
Would you say it's more of that way is more masculine way and this way is more
and I'm
feminine?
so happy to be feminine and be a woman. I don't want to have male energy. You do need male energy when you start a business.
Yeah.
But when it's already developed and it runs more or less smoothly, you can take your time back from being a man. Now I can be a woman. And I can have a days. Being a woman means, I'm really tired today. Maybe I just cancel it. Like, that's feminine.
Just feeling yourself.
But to get to that point, you need to be very much a masculine leader.
Speaking of that, like, what would you recommend if the girl, she really feels the passion about something, but again, how to start, where to start? Maybe the financial situation is not really helping. Maybe that passion is still lacking the vision. So do you have any, like, maybe 3 to 5 points where you think this would help to somebody to start? Like, what is the beginning for a new person?
I think to start, you need to understand what talent about you or in you is so unique that people are willing to pay for it. Right. And sometimes it's a talent that we overlook. Because, for example, when I was making dresses as a child, my parents didn't really praise me. So I never understood that that's something special. But people in the street praise me. So what people in the street praise you for?
How crazy is that, right?
Yes. Like what people in the street notice in you. If they say, wow, you're beautiful, you should be a model, maybe you should consider modeling. If when you are in karaoke, people say, oh my God, you have an amazing voice, maybe you pursue singing. If they say, wow, I had a friend like this. She was a very, very good listener. And every time after I talked to her, I feel so relieved. I said, maybe you should consider to be a psychologist. Because not every person has that talent of listening and really giving this very soft feedback and advice. So we have so many different talents. And we should ask ourselves, what is the talent that other people may need from me? Like Andrea Bocelli says, people ask him how to become a singer. He said, you don't become a singer. People choose you to become a singer. Because maybe I also want to be a singer, but nobody wants to listen to my singing. And the same with fashion design. How many brands we see opening and closing?
100%.
Maybe if you think you are a fashion designer, but nobody wants to buy and nobody relates to what you create, then it will not work. So first, do it and see the feedback. When I was choosing a logo for my company, or I was choosing whether to keep my full name or cut it to Katya or make it a Katya K because my last name Kovtunovich is a little bit difficult, I went to literally a guy sitting next to me in Starbucks. Sorry, can I ask your opinion? This is the list of options. Like, I'm choosing a name for my fashion brand, and he would definitely help me. And there were so many other people that I asked, literally on the bus, in the street, working, colleagues, friends. And you will see out of all these people, If 10 people like the same name and the same logo, guaranteed that 100 more will like the same. So you already have statistics. And that is called marketing research.
That's one of the best thing I've heard, to be honest.
And it's so,
to get the
and it's
feedback
so
from the
easy,
people.
and we don't do it. I
yeah,
don't understand.
yeah.
The same yesterday, I was giving advice to one girl at a meetup that I had with 40 girls. I said, talk to people. She sent me a most amazing message in direct. And I said, why didn't you come up to me? Maybe we could have had a personal. She said, I'm shy. I'm never shy. If I see something I like, I come up and say, I really like what you're wearing, or I really liked your speech.
And that skill requires actually to run the business, I'm sure, because you have to be interacting with people.
Because you never know what this person will say. And in any case, you will make his or her day, because we all love to be appreciated and respected for what we do, especially when you work so hard. It's so beautiful for people to know your work and respect your work and feel inspired by what you say. So just coming up to people randomly, and you never know what it will lead to.
And I'm sure like people love to give that feedback, because at the end of the day, not every day somebody comes to you and says, could you help me to choose the logo for my brand?
Makes them feel like an expert.
Right.
So without really...
That's one of the things why I love podcasts, because during this time I can really understand the personality, and people would hear something they would never hear before.
That's why I loved being a journalist, because people would open up and I would learn things that I would never learn in a classroom. That's why I say doing a real job, you learn so much more, because you see people unfiltered. You see people as they are. You see these editors in fashion magazines, how they swear, how they get mad, because there are things they will never teach in school.
No.
But there are these things are so important, like soft skills, like all what's going, like politics behind the scenes, who you talk to, who you don't talk to, how you talk to, when do you talk to them, why they don't teach these things in schools, when to approach a person. When
one of my
right
favorite questions, why we don't get in schools many things, the communication, the finance, the relationship, all of those things, which are
even
the basics.
How to feel what is your passion. Like, nobody teaches us how to understand what is really me.
Exactly.
How do you find out of many things that you do, what is really your passion?
Like 6 to 8 months, I'm taking some course because I really want to develop my understanding. And every single time I get amazed, like, oh, I had no idea about this, had no idea about that. Amazing. And then it just comes all together. And then you feel, yeah, I mean, whatever parents gave you or teach you, that's what they could have given to you at that time. But
and
that's our job.
To that.
And be grateful. But what's our job is to develop ourselves every day and be an example.
One thing I really don't like is complaining. People who complain, please go home. Go home.
Yeah.
If you came to Dubai and you say, I'm not the right skin color, I'm not the right passport, I'm not the right... Go home now. Don't waste your life. Become a farmer, which is fantastic. Not everyone is made to be this, warrior, this very enthusiastic person. For business, you need to be always looking on the bright side.
Even Dubai is not for everyone.
Absolutely
I always say
not
that.
And business is not for everyone. You need to have this fighter personality. You push me down, I will find a way how to bounce back. Exactly. Yeah. How many people told me, oh, you're from a small town. Oh, you will never get to this university. I got to that university. I'm like, hi. And then they say, sofa fabric will never be anything. When UAE ministers wear it, I'm like, hello. I'm empowered by these people. Thank God to people who didn't believe in me. If I ever write a book, this would be my first opening line. Thank you so much to everyone who told me I will never make it. Thank you.
If there is a talent and if there is a passion, you just cannot put it in the box. You cannot. It will just at some point either make a person depressed, either even the person would not survive.
True.
Because
it's not good or bad. We are all different. We need people who are calm and work in calm job, like teaching or nursing. There are people who have very flamboyant personality. They need to be leaders. They need to be entrepreneurs, because to go into an unknown situation and like invent something and try things on, you have to be very brave and not afraid of failure. The world needs different people and different personalities. So who told us that being this is good and being that is bad? It's just don't go to the wrong place. If you don't have the personality, it's okay to go back. It's okay to live a different life. But live a life and complain, that's definitely not good.
I call it a victimized mindset.
Absolutely.
When people kind of get addicted for someone to feel sorry about them. And some cultures I've noticed, because we have many cultures here, that just enjoy the fact of drama and things like that, which at the end, I always, tell people, like, what is your result on that? Where did you get with that? Like, I mean, yeah, you make it a bit entertaining, with maybe some relationship or stuff like that.
Make it against all odds and then praise yourself for that.
Yeah. I
would
think
say.
your personality is very inspirational, and I'm so happy that we have done the podcast today.
If I had an easy life and I came from a rich family, maybe I wouldn't have the story. I wouldn't go through these ups and downs, and I would not be able to inspire others. And if I could think of the best outcome from my struggles, is that my struggles became lessons, and these lessons can help someone else.
There is a flow of new people coming to Dubai. And as myself being here for almost 20 years soon, which
me,
I cannot
14 years.
believe, and for you 14 years, I feel like, one of the ways to give back to society is to help people who are similar, like when I came to Dubai at that time, and I had my guardian angels at that time who actually, directed me and supported me in certain things. Yes, hard work has to be there, but when you actually hear sometimes one phrase from one person, it can hit so well in a good way that it can really shoot a new superstar somewhere else.
Another way how you can tell if that's your way or not your way, doors open for you, things happen, magical things will happen. You will meet a person who does exactly what you were dreaming of. You will, encounter people that suddenly help you out of nowhere. That is a sign that you're on the right path. If everything is against you, I mean, of course, there will be times when everything is against you, even when it's your path.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, you would experience that God is really helping you.
Yes, you're in the right direction.
Yes,
Just
yes,
go.
yes.
Just
and
do
if
it.
if you've tried 50 doors and none of them open,
Right.
that may be a sign that you should consider something else.
Exactly. I totally agree 100% with everything, whatever you said today. I'm very happy that we have done this podcast and a lot of interesting thoughts for a lot of people. I think whoever watched it, they could relate to this.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you
have
for
the
coming.
lists that I prepared with things that I thought maybe what we said, it was advice to
A lot of
those
people who
who
are new,
start.
those who start, or maybe you can name it exactly.
Yeah, the first one was don't leave your job until you're fully ready.
Right.
Do your business at night, do your business part-time, do your business after your job, do your business before your job. Make sure you have enough orders, enough cash flow to sustain your lifestyle, to pay for your rent, to pay for your cars. Because once you leave your job, there will be a whole new world in front of you. And when I started, I got my business license and mama, now I'm a businesswoman. And 2 months later, I was writing, oh my God, I need the job because the rent came. So
Yeah.
yes,
Reality
that's
hits.
definitely an advice. Come up with a unique idea and save on marketing. Like I said, what I've designed didn't exist in the market. And the whole niche of clothes inspired by culture didn't exist. Now a lot of people copy my product and copy what I do.
I'm sure.
But I was the one who created that niche. I mean, maybe there will be people in other countries who did something similar, but for me, that gave me a lot of free exposure because people were curious. What is this? And when they're curious, they will write about it. They will talk about it. They will share. They would want to wear it. So it gives you access to influencers, magazines, podcasts, anything.
Yeah.
So that's very important and very smart. Be consistent and treat
Story
every
of my life.
client the same. Whether it's a sheikha, whether it's a student, don't ever allow yourself to be different because your client is your VIP client. It doesn't matter who this client is. And I've had experiences with that when I had to explain to people who said, how come? Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
I said, I treat every client the same way as a VIP person. It doesn't matter who you are.
Amazing.
And for me, that really worked miracles. And actually, VIP people love when you treat them the same as a normal person.
I would say, like, great people generally like that.
Yes,
Those who achieve themselves things.
absolutely. And the next advice, be human. Because you can also make mistakes. So I go out of my way for my clients. When they say, please, I need this really urgently, I will go out of my way to make sure my clients receives their order on time.
Yeah.
But also there were times when I forgot to ship an order, or there was a mistake from my side. And I experienced so much kindness from my clients.
Yeah.
And I realized because I give out so much kindness, they also treat me with kindness when I make mistakes. I love it. That's one of my favorite things. Imagine a client messaging me 2 weeks later. She said, Katya, I know that you really ship everything very fast. Maybe there was a mistake. I noticed that since 2 weeks, oh my God.
In such a sweet way.
Oh my God. Wait, imagine this kindness. You realize you fail completely,
Yeah.
but nobody tells you, oh my God, look, she's a failure. People say, Katya, we really know that you always go out of your way for us. You always answer on time. You always fast. So when you fail, nobody will condemn you.
Right.
That is so
100%.
important. And the last one, learn to turn every problem into a healthy challenge.
That's one of the best.
That's what we said. You know, if they tell you you cannot do it, say, let me try to show you the opposite.
And that's what they say literally. I think yesterday I read something. 90% of everything in our head, every challenge, everything is in our head. The circumstances making only 10. So it's 100% our responsibility how we react on the things, what we turned into what. Do we really turn something, in whatever life gives us to something amazing? Or we think it's just a problem we cannot solve. That's really a call of a person.
Once I was in London, I was living in a hostel with 4 girls in the room. When people see me now, they cannot imagine that was me. Yes, that was me. And don't be afraid to start from nothing. That's how it looks. Because now we are portrayed that, even when you start, you have to fly
and
only
that way is
business
very
class.
precious, by the way.
You only fly business class. I mean, I took a bus for 36 hours to go from St. Petersburg to Germany because I wanted to improve my German. 36 hours on the bus because it was only $10. So when I was in London, at one point, one of the magazines I worked for forgot to transfer me my money for my articles.
Oh my God.
I was calling them. I said, guys, how about... They said, oh my God, we forgot. I said, great. So now I have to wait 2 weeks for another transfer. So what do? I had 2 choices, to be unhappy and to be happy. I said, you know what? Like they teach you in all these books, you need to focus on what makes you happy. So I said, what can make me happy now that costs nothing? Going to a park and playing with dogs. So I went. It's free. People walk their dogs and you can say, sorry, can I play with your dog? That makes me so happy. On that energy, I got so many great ideas. I went to Starbucks. I wanted to tell them, guys, I really would like to buy a coffee, but I cannot pay for it right now. But can I pay for it 2 weeks later? I was prepared to tell them about my situation. And he said, what coffee would you like? I said, wait, I need to tell you my story. He said, I didn't ask about your story. I asked what coffee you would like. I was shocked. Like the guy just decided spontaneously to offer me a coffee. And in that moment, this was so magical. So God was really, please relax, be okay, you're safe. The next day, I realized I need to eat something. So I went to one of the cafes, Pret a Manger. I loved their story because every time I had a coffee there, I read a note on the wall. If you are a registered charity, please come to us at the end of the day. We will donate our unsold merchandise to you. I was like, what a great story, because I worked in restaurant and I saw how much food is wasted. And I always try to save it and bring it to my hostel and share it with others who maybe would never be able to afford this food.
Right.
So on that day when I needed a charity myself, I came to them. I said, guys, I'm not a registered charity organization, but maybe, I could ask you for a few unsold sandwiches. They opened a big garbage bag.
Choose.
And took everything from the shelves.
Wow.
And that's the food I was eating. How creative is that? It didn't even come to my head to call my parents or call somebody or to ask for help or for money, because my parents would say, aha, you failed. We told you, don't go to London. Now you failed. No, I was like, I can be creative and I have myself. I can come up with any solution. So you literally can come up with any solution.
It's
so
the
when
power
people
of mind.
complain, I said, please don't complain to me. I've been in situations that I had nobody to help me. And London is not like Dubai. In Dubai, people will always help you, talk to you, be kind to you, invite you to their home even. In London is a completely different story. And you're completely by yourself. And yet I managed. So Please, please, please be creative. There is always, where there is a will, there is always a way.
100%.
100%.
Yes, the power of how we turn anything into whatever we want.
And you don't
And
need
then, and the
to-
thing that the energy transforms the circumstances around. That's what I've noticed. The moment you shift your understanding of something, things are just popping itself, and you're like, wow. It's as you said, when the doors are open, this is even the universe is telling you, like, the way you are thinking is correct. Okay, this is keep going. This is the directions you are going to.
And that was one of the most sensitive times of my
I
life
can
where I
imagine.
couldn't afford. Recently, I went to London in 2019, and I decided that I will go and do a blow dry for my hair. I was sitting there, I realized I lived in London for 5 years. I never had a blow dry in the salon because I couldn't afford one.
Yeah.
And there were so many things I couldn't afford, and where I was and where I am now. And I went to the same restaurant where I worked as a waitress. It was an Iranian restaurant. And the owner was there. And he still, I remember you. I was like, I cannot believe that. He said, yes, you were the girl who were always happy. You always came to work and you were always smiling and you were always happy. How incredible is that? I had no money, I had no security, but my attitude was the same as now. And attitude is something you can control.
Absolutely.
It's fully in your control. You choose
Yes.
with what face to go to
There are
work.
things you can control, there are things you cannot control, but
Absolutely.
all those you can.
Imagine Emirates crew standing with this face. You can't. Come to every work happy. Come to every work as if you're on the theater stage. Be that person. Be in the moment.
I think we even changed the guys day to day. Now they get fully motivated on how to shoot the whole week.
In every job, you can
Yeah.
be excellent. When you are a cleaner, you can be an excellent cleaner.
Right.
And you will feel happy and you will be respected. You can be an excellent waiter. And I was an excellent waitress. People ran after me, putting money in my head, making sure I get the tip. We've been so lucky with the waitress. You made our night. How incredible is that? You can be the best at your field, whatever your job is.
Imagine if everybody would think this way, what the world turned into.
Yes.
Can you believe?
Absolutely. But my point is, why a surgeon cannot make a mistake when he's doing an operation on you? But why a simple reception worker allows themselves to make mistakes? If we all treat our jobs with the same precision as a neurosurgeon,
Right.
as a doctor, then the world would be a different place. We should all take our job seriously, even if it's a cleaner. All the respect. I went into a Four Seasons hotel in Jumeirah. I saw a beautiful lady working as a cleaner in the bathroom. I came to her. I said, don't ever allow anyone to talk low about your work. You came here for yourself. You came here for your dreams. Don't ever allow anyone to talk down to you. And I said, and she said, I am the first woman in my family who traveled abroad for work for my dreams. Bravo, wonderful.
Exactly.
I gave her a tip. I said, Dubai loves you. Dubai welcomes you. We love people like you.
Imagine after that conversation how she felt. Like,
Yes,
it's
and
an
we all
inspiration
can
for so
support
much.
someone with words.
Yes.
It takes
Yes.
nothing. You notice something, say it. It will make a person's day. It will motivate them.
On this positive note, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
think we all got an inspiration. We got really, it was wonderful having you.
Thank you guys
It's-
for coming here on Sunday.
Yeah,
We
thank
really
you
appreciate
for making this whole thing happen. And yeah, I'll hope to see you again and again and again on the podcast.
Thank you.